Hey everybody, it's Mike from DestinyGuitar.com, and in this lesson we'll be talking about the suspended A chord, or the Asus. And sometimes you'll also see this written as Asus4. And without digging too much into the theory behind what that means, I'll just say that we're taking one of those notes and that are typically in an A chord, and we are lifting it up a half step or just a little bit, and we are suspending it up to the fourth note in the A major scale. Now, suspended chords typically are not something that we hold throughout the entire duration of what that chord is called for, or the A chord is called for in the music. But normally what we'll do is we will suspend it, and then we will drop it back down to its standard A major equivalent. And so let's just get right to the close-up, and I'll show you exactly how to play the Asus chord. Now, to play the Asus chord, you will first have to learn how to play the A major chord. And there are a couple of ways to play the A major chord. I suggest you check out our tutorial on playing, on how to play the A chord on the guitar, and you'll get more details behind that. But if you choose to play the A major chord in this position right here, which is your second finger on the second fret of the fourth string, your first finger on the second fret of the third string, and then your third finger on the second fret of the second string, which essentially is taking all three of these notes here and getting them fretted with three fingers. So we have a 5-string A major chord. To suspend to the fourth, you will take your fourth finger and you will play the third fret of the second string. Now it sounds like we're sort of hanging somewhere. We're not supposed to stay there. We should land again, and that's exactly what we should do. Typically, in a chord progression, you'll be playing the A, you'll suspend to the fourth, and then you'll drop it back down. I noticed myself doing something, and I've talked about this before, but I'll mention it again. When you're strumming over a 5-string chord, one way to prevent yourself from playing the 6th string accidentally is to do just what I did, which is take your thumb, just wrap it over the back a little bit, and take that fleshy part of your finger and mute that bottom note, so that if you do strum over it, you won't hear it. Now, if you choose to play an A major chord in its first position by barring with just this one finger, then what you'll do is you could take either one of these fingers, I suppose, any one of them, the one that's most comfortable. I typically find that I'm using my third, because in order to get this barred correctly, I kind of have my hand turned a little bit at an angle. And so it's just real comfortable to slip this third finger there on the third fret of the second string and suspend it. Now, a little bit about the theory behind the suspended 4 chord. In a standard A major chord, what we're playing is we're playing an A, and then we have an E here, and then we have a doubled note or an A, and then we have a C sharp that's going to become significant in a moment, and then we have another E, so a doubled note. So in a 3-note chord, we have 5 strings or 5 notes being played, and when we fret out this third fret on the second string, what we're doing is we're taking that C sharp and we are lifting it up to a D, which is the 4th note in an A major scale, and that's why they call this an Asus4. And as I said, you can refer to it both ways. Asus, there's only one suspended type chord out there, and it is by suspending to the 4th. So Asus, Asus4 is the same thing. And so we're lifting it up, and instead of that C sharp, we are now playing a D in this position. Now there are a lot of classic and popular songs out there that make use of this suspended A chord, and many times it's when you're creating a little melody line, if you will, throughout the playing of the A chord. And so one thing that's very common is to suspend to the 4 and then go back to the A major and then lift up this finger right here and then leave this second string open, or this B. And by playing that open, you actually now have an A2 chord. You've substituted the third note in the scale and you've dropped it down to the 2. And so this may sound very familiar to you. That's a very typical kind of a thing that's played in many different songs, many types of songs, and it's because it's so easy to rock back and forth between taking the third note in the scale and suspending it up to the 4th, bringing it back to the 3rd, dropping it down to the 2nd note, and then back up to the 3rd. And so practice that. It's kind of fun to do with these suspended chords, and with the A2 chord. It's very interesting to actually rock back and forth between these different chords. I'm actually just playing an A chord the entire time. It's just different variations on the A chord, or different colors of the A chord. Alright, very cool. Well, have fun playing that Asus chord, and maybe practice it along with that A2 and the A major. And you can put your fingers in a couple of different positions. I will tell you, in that last example, it's easier to play a 3-finger A major chord in order to get to the A2 than it is to do the 1 finger, because really you can't bar off that second one. It's very difficult to roll that 1 barred finger up, and so it's probably better to play it with those 3 fingers if you're going to take it up to the 4 and then drop it down to the 2. Alright, very cool. Check out some of our other videos on destinyguitar.com.